Our unborn child. Dude was insane, as well as brilliant in some ways.
Morning. My mic's open. Get screen straighten out right quick. NQ slowly making higher highs, higher lows here on a 60-minute. We did break out a major area yesterday on daily 4-hour. Keep an eye on that. Netflix started pushing up yesterday evening. It still has potential to sell back off. Of course, after a big move like that, it usually chops for a few days. Take a look at Tesla real quick. Earnings yesterday. We'll go SPY. I'll just see on the laptop over here. Right now we're consolidating between 1067 and 1080. It could push up right here. Pre-market could be a trap. I can see this thing popping up and coming right back down. It's opening up higher right now. So we can just all right, hold up now. There's that consolidation right here. It's making higher highs, higher lows. There's major resistance right here at 1080.35, guys. Major resistance. They didn't mark that thing. We'll definitely look at playing this thing right here out of the gate. So we're going to open up right in the middle of this range, right dead in the damn center of it. It's still making lower highs, lower lows on the week. It could be a false break. We just don't know. If it starts to gap fill, we'll target roughly 25%, 50%, 75%, and then 100% gap fill. We'll play it by ear. It could gap and go. We don't know. Let's take a look at SPY real quick. SPY's making higher highs, higher lows pre-market. Retest this 448 area. Key's going to be breaking 449. See, month. So this right here on the weekly could turn into a higher low pivot. If it does, we can see 461 on it. So there's that key area that it broke yesterday. Currently, it's trying to retest and push back up. Pull it up right quick. It looks like this right here. Here's that area we're looking at breaking. It's a major. It looks just like Q. It broke out, retested the area, starting to push back up pre-market. Q's going to be yesterday's high. Anything that takes that yesterday's high is going to be long. It is a lot. It's a pretty damn choppy coming up through here. So first target would be these set of wicks here. And then bodies wicks. Market's open. Tesla. NQ, guys, anybody that's watching NQ, the level is going to be 14,190 or 194, and it needs to break 14,141. Watching Tesla here right off the bat here. It's going to be short as people take profits on it. Still watching NQ. Now it does go long if it breaks 181. It's long right now. NQ is long. Target's going to be pivot. It touched pivot. There's first target hit. It's long again right this second. NQ is long. We just don't fucking miss on NQ, guys. We might as well just pull up and play it. Now, if we come back to retest this 5 minute again, I'm going to call it. We could see 14,298 today on NQ. Right here, it broke this level here. It's retested. Anytime it breaks the high day here, it's long. Long right this second. All right, so just every time it pulls back in itself and breaks, it'll be long. So it's going to be long again when it breaks this high. Long again right there. Now look, every time it does, that's long. Right here, higher lows, higher highs. It went long just a few seconds ago where this candle target was here, pivot. So now we see it pulling back again. It's long again right there. It pulls back, it breaks. Every single time it breaks, it's long. It pulls back here, takes out the high, it's long again. That's a big fucking move right here. I'm telling you, you can be done in the first 2 minutes of the day. Hey, nobody fucking do that. This thing moves 61 points, guys. Gonna be long again as soon as it breaks high. Long again right there. There's another 5 points. There's 10 points. Every time it pulls back and breaks high, it'll be long. Now, when it pulls back, I'm looking to see how far it pulls back in itself, right? It's that wave. It's exactly what it's doing. Every time it pulls back, it's consolidation. Even in the first fucking candle of the day. When it pulls back, that's consolidation. When it takes the high, it's long. Long again. Another 5 points. Just wait on the break of the high. Long again. It's moved 80 points. Long again. And another 10 points. Who needs Tesla? Amazon's long right now, ripping to the moon. Nvidia's long too, coming back up a large candle, guys. These are A+ setups. Crowd's long. NQ's gonna be long again when it breaks high day. I tell you this, it's getting close to exhaustion risk, so we can see a nicer pullback on it. But I said that yesterday, and the damn thing just kept moving and moving and moving. Every time it takes the high, it's long. We could start to see a deeper pullback where it comes back to retrace 30 to 50%. But until that, every time it breaks high, it's long. Nvidia's long again right this second. Amazon's long. Crowd is long. These are retracing large candles. Absolutely large, solid red candles. That's a 90-point move. Long again right there. Gonna be long again in a second. Every time it pulls back. This is what the candle looks like right now. Looks just like this right here. It's long right there. Long again. Gonna be long again over 62. 50. Long right there. There's 5 points. Gonna be long again over 67 or 68. So look, every time it breaks, it's long. Now look, why is it doing that? I'll tell you in a second. When it breaks, same thing. It's long again right there. I'll tell you why it breaks here in a few minutes. Why it's such a big move. It's coming back up a big ass red candle. Right there. This wick right here should act as support. The next level of support right here on this candle's wick. Fixing to go short here. If it goes short, we'll target here 50% low. Nvidia, drag your stops up on it. Let's go to 60. I'll tell you why it moved, guys. Right here. Your best trades come back through large candles. You want to know why it shot straight up through there? Here's why. Right here, there's a breakout there, and it came right back up this big ass red candle. Target's gonna be body high. And then pivot. Now remember, if it comes up to the pivot, it can do a couple of things. If it comes up and it fails to touch it by 1 cent, NQ's long again right here. If it comes up and fails to touch it, automatically it's bearish. You come right back down. Right? It can do this too. It can come up, pull back, and then shoot through. All right. It could touch it. It can break through it. All right, and then pull back. All right. If it retests this and come back down, we'll take and short it. If it breaks out, let's say we want it to break out and retest the pivot back to the top side. We can see this on the 5 minute and the 15. All right, key 14298. We'll see how it reacts there. Now that it's so close to pivot, or when it gets really close, 298, we'd be careful. We got to dial in and see exactly what it's doing there, because it can be a false break. It can be a reversal. It also takes a shit ton of stops on that 60. When it takes that 60 pivot, it runs a lot of stops. There's a lot of stops on that pivot. Amazon's going to be long again over high day. NVIDIA is going to be long again over high day too, if you want to add to it. If you've been in it from the beginning, just wait. Just manage your position. Right here, we got a big push up. This is a major move candle on top of that. It's a major move candle here. It pulls back. Right here, between wick to wick, that's consolidation or rest. Now, right on top of here, there's major resistance here. All right, we know that because of the wick. There's a bunch of buy or sell orders up here. Right here, if it takes the low of this candle, it'll be short. All right. If it breaks this candle, it will be short. Crowd's still trying to push here. If you're in crowd, stop at 226. Long again right here. You can add to it. Just move your stop up. NQ short here. You're going to be short again as soon as it breaks current candle's low. You want to be scalping it. Going to be short again as soon as it breaks the low of current candle. It's short again right there, guys. $70. That's a $90 measured move. That gets us to 350 measure move target on this thing. Let's send alert. All right, here we go. Anything that takes the high candle out or the low of previous candle here will be short or long. So long over this, short under this. All of this right here is a consolidation. So literally a sideways move. This is the day's range, or what we call a day's range from open. This is inside. If it breaks below this candle, we're going to target 50% and then the pivot. All right, and then the open and low and the next pivot. Yeah. All right, we're waiting on MQ. A break of either side, guys. It'll be long or short. All right. All this is consolidation. All right, so let's draw it a little bit cleaner here. First off, this right here is a compound two. That's today's range. All right. All of this is inside that range right now. It's a consolidation or a rest. Remember, we just had a fucking 100-point move here. It needs a rest. It's going to be long when it takes the high of this candle out, or it's going to be short when it takes the low out. Now, if we look at this, it's literally, it's a sideways move. All I can tell about it. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask here. Right on top of here, this is a major resistance. It can break this. So sometimes it'll pop up a couple big wicks there. It can still break it. There's a bunch of stops sitting right here on top of this candle wick. Now, if you want to be really safe, here's what you do. You wait until it breaks and retest. If you want the safest entry, you wait on a retest. But this thing could pop up so quick, you may not even get a retest. Now, when we're looking at these tickers, you don't want to neglect the higher time frames. Right now, guys, we're coming back up to pivot on the 60-minute. So it could, again, if it comes up and it fails to touch the pivot, even by 1 cent, makes it bearish automatically. We can get a reversal. Right? That pivot marks a major resistance level. Now, ideally, we want it to break that level and continue higher. We can see a huge push back up. The reason it came up so quickly is because it ran up that red candle. Now, on the month, this thing's a beast, right? We pulled back here, made a lower high, now it's making higher lows. This is a major resistance level right here. It's got to break. But again, this right here is the same exact pattern that we're looking at on any time frame. The time of the price doesn't matter. We got to break these wicks here. When it breaks that wick, we come back up this huge red candle here. So just like on the 5-minute, we trade this the same exact way. That'd be a monster move. You're talking about swinging something. A lot of tickers set up the same exact way. It's just higher lows, right? And then it's a breakout, right? And by looking at the lows and the highs, we can get direction. On the week, we're looking at a higher low here, but again, that pivot's sitting there. All right, guys, NQ breaks, it will be long. Now, we want to be mindful of the pivots on all time frames here. Right here, NQ's in a downtrend a week. It broke out, came back, retested the downside. Now, this pivot could act as resistance, right? So that's where it's got to break the previous candle. We can still trade this. Of course, the price action is staying on the lower time frames, but this pivot is major resistance. Now, it's broke up before, it can break it again. If it breaks that and then takes out the high, this pivot would be a new higher pivot low here. So it would look like this. Price came down, would pull back up. The target would be these wicks here, and of course the pivot. So when you're looking at these right here, it's basically just it's a puzzle, and you've got to look at the higher time frames and work your way. You got to work your way backwards or to lower time frames. Right here is this line I got drawn here is basically the 60, the pivot. That's a major resistance level, and every time price gets close to this level, it rejects. Right? You can see the wicking on it. Now it's bullish because it's making these higher lows. The key, if it breaks this area here, there's a bunch of stops. There's stops stacked all in this damn thing. On top of that, we got a huge candle. From here to here, it's one big ass red candle. So just like I showed you on the month, it's the same pattern here. You compound these candles, you add them together, it's one big ass red candle. So when price breaks this level, we can see a huge push back to the top side. It could happen very quickly. So it can break, pull back, and then push back to the top side. If you want your safer section, you wait on the pullback, and then you're on the high. We'll target 50% of this large candle here, and then the pivot. Now there's individual resistance levels coming up through here. So here would be one on top of the wicks, the bodies, and the wicks. So body, wicks, two separate targets. But NQ it's the price action is so clean. It's just so clean. And the reason it's clean is because the shares are so expensive. Retail can't move this thing one penny. I mean, it takes big money to move this thing, major money. Well, there's not much manipulation in it. There's still manipulation, but not much. There's that flat top breakout here that we're looking for on the 60. It's bullish because it's making higher lows, right? So when they break, they can do a couple things. It could pull up, break. It could trap buyers and then run stops. So there's a lot of stops to run that create major liquidity, and they can take and push it right back down. I can tell you this: anytime it breaks that trend line, we will come right back to the base of this pivot. This is also consolidation. So every bit of this right here is a literal sideways mover consolidation. And the ultimate would look like this. It comes down, consolidates, and then shoots right back up. So it's a big ass cup. So the key is a pivot, right? And we're sitting right on the pivot right this second. We're really close to it. Right now, we're making lower highs, low lows on the 5-minute, guys. So if we break 14,234, be short again. All right, and again, we'll target 50%. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and draw. Here's what happens. It goes short again on this candle. First time went shorts here. Second time is gonna be short on the candle here. We're gonna target 50% of this range. The pivot, the open, the low. Now it's still bullish on the larger time frames. Still bullish. X is trying to break out here, guys. X. Baba's short. Etsy's gonna be short under 104, guys. Etsy. Breaking consolidation 60. It needs to take low a day. Still making lower highs here. Right here. This is the downtrend. It's short right this second. Target's gonna be this line right here. This is also a chop. So there's the range, consolidation. So consolidation is a few different things. It's a range. It's a chop. It's a literal sideways move. BA short here, we're going to target 50% gap fill, then gap fill. what we can do. Twitter's trying to break high day here. Not Twitter. Well, Twitter, but Tesla. NQ's trying to break high day as well. A lot of volatility in this range right here. The video's in chat. Yeah, the video's stuck right in the middle as well. All right, waiting on NQ here. Again, long over high day. It'll be short now under 14,234. Okay. And if it breaks, we can still target 50% of this large candle 193. Take a look at the video. Yeah, in the video, if we look at the video, it's pushed up here this morning. On the 60, it broke consolidation at the top side, still in a larger consolidation. Hopefully it pushes up and breaks on through there. Right now, it's not looking so good. If NVIDIA breaks 219.50, again, it can come right back down to open low day, pivot, then gap fill. Tesla, really ugly here. It is making lower or higher highs and higher lows. It's stuck right in the middle of consolidation here. It needs to break 1092. And if you look on the 4-hour daily, it's stuck right in the middle of the damn range. It's right in the center. That's a doji. So look, if we draw this range, and then we draw a line where price is currently, that's a doji. That's the worst possible place you could absolutely be. There's no direction. We'll go to the month, you can see the doji. Right here. NQ broke downside there. Remember, you might want to be scalping right here in this range until it finds a direction to scalp. You scalp 5 or 10 points easily every single time it breaks. Every single time it breaks, you can scalp 5 or 10 points. Baba's still puking here, guys. We talked about Bob a few times this week. It gaps down every morning. The best time to buy this thing is when it pushes up in the middle of the day. It'd be a good spot to buy for the downside. I mean, short again under 87.96. This thing's in major trouble. So, you know, how we're looking at the patterns on our 8+ setup where it comes back down these large candles. It's the same thing right here. So, There's consolidation right here. There's lower highs, right? And we're coming right back in this big ass candle. Target will be the body and the low. It can move very quickly through here. The only thing that separates this pattern is the time and the price. This is a money pattern. Absolutely money. Same thing happened here is consolidation. Lower highs, it breaks the low. It comes right back down that candle, the big green candle right here. And you can see how fast it came back through there. NQ short, guys. There we go. There's a quick 8 points. Again, we're going to target 50% pivot. So it already hit 50% target. Anyway, Bob, breaks 87.96 be short. Up NQ here. Now, right off the bat, it came up on the 60 and it failed to touch, making it bearish automatically, guys. Now, when this thing broke here, first off, it consolidated. All right, we broke out. It came back to retest that level before pushing back down, short again here. The target was 50% of the range. Now the pivot, and then open, and then the low, and then next pivot. Short again. I love it. Short again. Never get over that. Target will be pivot. Bought a short again right here, guys. Tesla short. We're going to target low a day. NQ short. Also, Tesla short. Going to target open low a day on that, and we'll start looking at gap fill. Let me redraw this real quick. That wick right there can eventually act as a resistance level here. Look at that, guys. We caught this move from the open. The first minute of the day, we caught this entire move here. Well, some of us did. I didn't have mine up, so everybody should have profited off of it, though. Short again. Whoa, shit. What a fucking drop. All right, we're at target here, guys. When it gets close, we're at target. All right. Now, because these pivots act as a magnet, this could be a retest. So remember, when we get close to the pivots, we have to start paying attention. It can bounce here. All right. That marks a support level and a resistance level. If it breaks, we'll still target actual pivot, and it can still come back to touch it. All right. And then we'll target open low a day. But you got to be aware, this is a major support resistance level. There's a chance that it bounces and goes back to the top. If it does, this wick here, this random wick could act as a resistance level. It can reverse, come back up to retest, we're selling back off. All right. When you get close to pivots, you have to be aware of them. You've got to be aware of them, what they can do. All right. There's a few different things they could do. Bounce, reverse. There could be false breaks. Let's buy here. They can reverse, they can bounce. So it can come through, push right back up. It can break, retest the downside. Come on, go, girl, go, go, go. I'm gonna close it out. It can still pop back up. I just don't want to chance it. Got to keep the losses to a minimum, guys. Flo's absolutely dying here. Amazon reverse target's gonna be low a day. BA short, it hit first target, 50% gap fill. You're in it. Etsy still triggers it under 104. A lot of times I'll stop that for a small loss. It still goes my direction. I'm not going to sit there and hold it, hoping that it bounces. Oh, thank you so much. I'm not going to hold it, hoping, because hope will blow your account up. See, I would have made money on that. Remember, this wick right here is a support level, aka resistance. Let me draw a straight line across it. That random wick right there. You never want to hold on to something hoping it bounces off support resistance. You cut it for a small loss, you ran it on the next break. And I have a 10-point max loss. I try to keep it lower. A lot of times if it looks funny, I'll cut it immediately. I try to keep them under 10 points. Waiting and seeing, guys. Waiting and seeing. Baba's still coming down. Make sure you're dragging your stops down on Baba. Same thing with BA. Amazon just triggered. Target's low a day. See how NQ came down and touched the pivot exactly? So we talked about it earlier. Broke here. Came back up to retest. Target was 50% in range. Pivot. Now the next time be open low a day. Short right now. Woo. We'll pick 5 points. Amazon's at first target here, which is low a day. Holy shit, what a drop. Whew, there's open.
I think we're dropping because Biden is talking about tax money and going to Ukraine.
Oh, shit. Trump talks the market go up. Biden talks it goes down.
Yeah, along with the rest of the world.
Yeah. Elon talks it rips.
I really hope Elon gets to buy Twitter.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, when people talk, you pay attention. Even, I mean, I don't care about the politics thing, but you got to be aware of stuff like that, especially if you're trading. Even the Feds is super important. You don't want to be in anything really when there's a Fed meeting going on. So much volatility.
I think Jay Powell also talks.
All right, guys. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it does today?
Yeah, I believe he does.
I'm done. Yeah, good job, man. XGN, guys, has been fucking killing it. That guy's killed it. He started with $6,000, man. He's up to like 60. He's probably up to 70,000 this morning. He started 2 weeks ago. All right, targets hit, guys. All targets hit on the downside and the upside. Dude, that's over 300 points, man, in moves. And it's 10:07. Now look here. This is the 5-minute chart, but this is our A+ setup, guys. This is the A+ setup. Big, large candle. Remember, the best trades come back to these large candles, just lower highs. And of course, the target's gonna be open low, right? Next target's gonna be pivot. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, crazy, crazy. All right, this price can come right back up to retest this pivot. We're pushing right back down. We'll see if it acts as resistance. Let's short it here. There's another $5. Crazy, man. That's crazy, is it not, man? I'm telling you what, I'm gifted. That's all there can be. I am so consistent. I'm pretty consistent with these tickers. Tesla's short again right here, almost their first target, which is low a day. NQ, I'm on a completely different level. I'm telling you what, man, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Facebook short here, guys, breaking a large consolidation on the 60 to the downside. Amazon hit target. The next target is going to be pivot. But NQ is and I'm just as good with ES. But NQ is just a completely, I mean, completely different level. Up now, support open, give it a back to even on the big green candle. Are you scalping, Mac? I'm usually scalping, 5-10 points at a time on these big spikes like that. I'll pull, easily between 10 to 20 points at a time. And every time it pulls back, we re-enter right back in it. Right down here is a major support level. We know that because there's a big wick down here at the base. Right here. Major support. Up here, major resistance. This entire area here. This thing could pop right back and touch 193. I'll take a look at it here. This current candle is inside, but it's a higher low. Yeah, highly recommend you scalp. When you see green, go ahead and put a stop on it. Short here. Let's see. Lethal runners, nice. Yeah. Suppose it went long here. Target's gonna be 14,193. First target's gonna be 50% this move, then 193. Yeah, it's best to scalp. Now, with options and stuff like that, of course, you want to try to stay in this for the whole move, right? And you can still do that if you put runners and stuff in there. But I have a lot higher success with just scalping, keeping losses to a minimum. Shop down here. Plug short here. AXSM is going to be short on the lower day. Roku short right this second. And Essie, if Etsy breaks 104 to be short, guys. Wait on that break. Short. Shop absolutely puking here. There we go. Okay, so breaks low day to be short. We're going to target 50%. Gap fill first target be pivot. Short here on SQ or NS. I can't even think. Whoa, shit. Well, we cut that one. What a fucking drop. Amazon hit target, guys. Let's give him a break for a second here. Every time it takes out the low here, it'll be short. There is resistance down here, support. There's one at 14,140. There's another one at 14,126. You got to be careful through here because this right here is consolidation, and we're coming right back through it. A lot of places where this thing can bounce. Right? So now we're coming back through garbage. Right? Anything over consolidation or under the safest trade. When we broke this large consolidation here, it's straight up. Okay, I got that large red candle on the 60. And because this big green candle here blocked out all the noise behind it, came straight down. Now, this pivot right here on the 5-minute is a magnet. Price can't come right back up to it. It's long right now. Price can come right back up to 164 if it wants to. First, it'll be 50 here. And then pivot. These things are magnets, guys. Price loves to come back up to retest these things. We're selling back off. Again, anything that takes out the low a day here will be short again. All right. That's target hit right there. I don't need the entire move. I just need pieces of it. I just need bits and pieces. This right here is a major resistance level. This will be bounce. We start breaking these levels and retesting, we'll start coming back up. And because This was a big green candle. This is a big red candle. If price starts to chop here, consolidate and come right back up, we can come back up just as fast, guys. Just as fast. We want to watch the candle here. You see it come back to retest that level there. So see it come back to touch it. It's acting as a support level now. This is a major resistance area. So is this. So if we're gonna take it long, I want to wait till it breaks this wick. All right, I want to wait till it breaks that wick right there. All right, so it's like this right here. Long over this, short on a lower day. All right, so we're back in a consolidation here.
Hey, Jared,
This is a lower. Yep, go ahead.
I got a quick question. So you're saying short low a day, or would you short at the open of the current candle?
Short, yeah, short under, yeah, current candle. Well, current candle's a lower day, right? Well, lower day right now is current candle.
But my question, like you were talking about earlier, taking entries at the open of candles. So safer entry would be the low of the day or at the open of the current candle.
Yeah, you want to wait till it breaks the current candle's low. So if current candle just took out low a day, then that's going to be the new entry.
So not
to the downside. So it's got to take the lower day of current candle. Now, say over here it came down and it's come right back up. You're going to wait till it takes the lowest candle out. And it just so happens that current candle is the lowest candle of the day. So it's still bearish here. Right? The reason being it made a lower low. Now, it'd be more bullish if current candle made a higher high. So if it opened up like this, it'd be stronger. Right now, it's doing this. It's still in a downtrend. Yeah. So it needs to take out that low right there. Right there. Right there. And I would not touch it long till it breaks this wick here. The reason being, it breaks. First off, it's right up against major resistance, but that wick is more important than the bodies because it's marking a hidden level of resistance, and it's also marking sell and buy orders. So we're in a downtrend still. Right here is a major support level, and we know that because every time price gets close, it wicks back up immediately. Large wicks down here at the base. So wait, just chop. It's just a chop. Now we're coming back through garbage here. So you got to keep that in mind too. If it breaks this here, right down to here, this right here is one clean move to here. Let me zoom out a little bit. So anytime you're coming back through these clean ranges, it's a better trade. So I'm going to mark this here to here. If we look at it, that's just one big green candle there from here to here. So that move should be pretty fast if it breaks. So your best trades come back to these large candles. And even that's a pretty good size move right there. The short right this second. Now the target will be, of course, the body first, which is right there. So target hit. Next target will be the low right there. And I missed that, but it's okay. So see how fast it came through that. See how fast it came through that large candle there. That large candle blocks out all the noise behind it. Now below here we got another big ass candle. So from here to here is one big ass green candle. Let me mark this. From here to here, price should move very quickly. Right there. That's another big green candle. After that, it gets a little ugly, right? Because there's a bunch of wicks and shit in here. It's a lot. It's a lot of volatility in here. A lot. So when it starts getting in this range here, it can be a lot of chop. A lot of chop, even though it's a compound two. Not all compound twos are large candles created equal. Amazon short, guys. Hope you caught Tesla the downside. It is short again. Add to it. Amazon's break retest. I hope you caught Facebook. It is short. Hope you caught Etsy just went short as well, guys. And BA, if you're still in it, it goes short. You can add to it again on a lower day. So Tesla's short. We're going to target that pivot. Amazon went short way up before. It went short in the first 30 minutes of the day. First target was going to be low a day, open low a day. And the next target was pivot, hit pivot, pull back in and retest, short again right this second. So let's take a look at those real quick. And of course, Bob is going to be short again on a lower day as well. Bob consolidating here, going to be short under 87.10. It went short around 935. Amazon, beautiful clean fucking ticker right here. Went short. I think I called it around 3102. Target open low a day. Gap fill. The next target was a pivot. Broke pivot, retest, and went short again right here. So each time you can add to it. Now you can scalp this if you like to, or you can try to hang on to it the largest move. Tesla reversed right here on the 5 minute, and the target was, of course, target's always going to be open low a day. All right, then we start targeting gap fills. So right here, Tesla went short on this wick right here, right there. See, it came back up to retest and went short again here. Add to it. We're going to target the open, the low a day, and you can see on low a day, it's retesting it, trying to send back to the downside. There is a pivot right here as well. So there's low a day. I want to tell you this: open is always a significant area. The open is always significant. And then the first high day and the first lower day is a significant area as well. Always. You can act as support resistance. Right here, you see it breaks out, retests that area, and then sells back off. So each time it breaks and retests, you could add to it, or you could, it's an entry. Either way, it's just a consolidation break downside. Now there's targets. First off, from low a day, the first low to pivot, you'll break it down. 50% is target. If there's pivots in the way, there's one on the 15. Those are going to be individual targets as well. So if we go to 15 minute, there's a target right here at 1034. That is a target because that pivot could act as a support level. So it would look like this. First off, we broke out on good news. So that's important to know. It gapped up for a reason. It breaks up. And because these pivots act as a magnet, you can come back to retest this level, consolidate, and then turn around and come right back up. Right? If it breaks the pivot, right? So if it comes down, it breaks the pivot and retests it to the downside, it'll be short. And because we're going to target gap fill, ultimately we'll break it down to 50%. All right, so target will be 50% of that, gap fill, and then the pivot. So each time pivot will be magnitude. It's different for each time frame. The higher time frame the pivot on, the stronger it is, the larger the move. The more significant it is. Somebody's asked the other day about these pivots, and the pivots, there's expansion and there's contraction on the pivots. And let me show you here on the 60 minute. And it's important to know this too. There's actually expansion in between the candles, between the bodies of the candles. There's expansion. I'll show it to you as well. But here's the pivots. And you can see the expansion of the top side. A lot of times they'll expand the top side and the downside. And it's important because, first off, if you're aware of it, you're aware that price could push up to run stops and attract buyers. It's a bull trap, basically what it is. When it does that and you get a pullback to the downside, so when it breaks out, it pulls back, and then it retests the downside, you'll target the lower pivot. So just like this right here, it came out. It was a trap. It expanded the pivot or the consolidation and reversed. Right? It did it a couple of times. It did it once, twice, 3 times. Right? So it expanded. That's also important for your stop placement. So say Tesla popped up here and it retests. First off, you don't put your stop horizontally. You're going to put it below, and ideally you put it on the body minus 30 cents. That allows for expansion. How many times you put your stop right on top of the pivot or on top of a candle or on the body only to be stopped out and the price to continue? They expand the range just to stop you out, and they create liquidity doing that, and they bring the price right back up. They're buying the shares you get stopped out of. They're dirty. They're dirty. So when price gets to the pivot, there's expansion and contraction. So sometimes price will come up like it did right here. Let me zoom in right here. So price came up, it failed to touch it. And remember, if it comes up, it fails to touch it by 1 penny, it's bearish immediately. It's absolutely bearish immediately. So, you know, when we're playing the range, we're like, we're good, right? We're good until we get to the pivot, right? So pivots are target. At that point, you need to take a look back and examine it, because it's either going to reverse or continue, and you need to be aware of it. So you know how to handle it. You're looking at the signals, the signs of what's going to happen, where you don't get caught. So it's either going to continue. If it continues, you really want to see it pull back and retest. You want resistance to become a support level. Now be aware, it can retest, push up, and eventually it can consolidate to come back to retest a second time. Now, sometimes if it's such a strong uptrend, it won't come back to retest it. It'll just keep fucking ripping, right? But it happens enough that you need to be aware of it. So it retests, pops up, consolidates, breaks back down, and retests a second time before pushing back up. Now, the good thing about this is you can buy it and your target's clear. It's the high, but this is also a measured move. So from the pivot to the high for the pullback, you measure that. If it's 20 points, you're going to add 20 points to the top. It's a measured move. Same thing between the pivots here. So if you measure from the high and low, this is a measured move as well. This is a compound 2 or compound inside candle. So these pivots mark a literal sideways move, and it marks the most relevant ones, which is just a consolidation. It's also a range, right? It can be a chop, right? And ideally, when it's inside the pivots here, we want some kind of pattern so we can train it. It's a range. It's range trading. We're trading the range, right? And sometimes it just comes in and it has no rhyme or reason to it. It's a literal fucking chop. It's a garbage hole. And you know, if we look at the video right now on the 60, let me pull it up here. You know, the first thing I do is when I'm looking at a ticker, if I'm new to it, the first thing I do is I look at the month and I work my way back. But immediately when I pull something up, I'm immediately looking at the 60. And if you're looking at the 60 and you see something that's in a really tight range, your best trades come outside this range, hands down, your biggest trades, because it runs all the stops. Now, again, you can trade the range as long as the moves are smooth. So right here, it's just pretty fucking smooth in here. So you can trade it. It's plenty of range. There's $17 in here. All right. And right here's a beautiful move. This right here's a consolidation break. It's also a higher low, so it made it bullish. When it takes these candles out here, target would be open high. It came up, rejected, of course. It's right in another consolidation. If you want your safest trades, you'll wait till it breaks the consolidation, right? So right here, it consolidates, right? You can trade the range, consolidates, reverses back down a green candle. It breaks out, retests, sells back off, right? There's another consolidation. It breaks out, another consolidation, another consolidation. So the market does two things. It trends and it consolidates. Trends, consolidates. Now, anytime it's consolidating, it can break out either way. I don't care which way it breaks. I really don't care. The key is you wait till it takes the highest wick out or the lowest wick. Now, I'm showing you a 60-minute, but this pattern happens on the 5-minute, 15, 30, 60, monthly, yearly. It happens on every single time frame. So if you're aware of it and you know what happens, you know how to trade it. Another thing that's important is this wave right here. So there's consolidation and this wave. And MQ's fixing to trigger the top side here, guys. MQ's going to be long right this second. Target's going to be 14,205, 14,206 in the high. We can come right back up. It's a big ass red candle, right? It's a reversal back through a large candle. But this wave is important because this wave is in everything. It's been from the beginning, it'll be to the end. That wave is a breakout. It's a breakdown. It's a reversal. It's a consolidation. It's a pullback. It's a retest. It's every fucking thing you ever thought of. It's in everything. It's in everything. So it could be in one candle. It could be two. It could be 20, 200, 2,000. It doesn't make a shit. It's in everything. And if you know exactly where price is in relation to that wave, you know where it's going. You can actually see the future. You can literally see where it's going. That wave completes all the time. All right. So everything in between the peak and the trough is consolidation. So here, it's consolidation. All right. Down here, it's consolidation. It's the downside. All right. Now, you can trade the inside of the consolidation from top to the bottom and the bottom to the top. The key is you never want to guess the bottom, right? You want to be at least 25% from the bottom to the top when you take a trade back to the downside. The 25% rule, the reason that you want to be at least 25% from the top to the bottom is because it gives you at least two pullbacks in the direction of trend. Hell yeah, we caught it open, my friend. Did we catch NQ at the open? Well, hell yeah. Put it up, put it down. So everything in between the pivot high and the pivot low is a consolidation, all right? A range. Yeah, it was crazy, wasn't it? On NQ. So I'm pretty much done today. A lot of times I'm done before the market even opens. I'm still going to make money regardless. But let me teach you some stuff today. So here's the NQ again, back on that 60. Now we're looking at 515. Remember, now we're trading on the 5 minute. You want to be aware of every time frame. All right, you want to be aware of every single time frame. Let's look at the 30. Is it important to know that we're right in the middle of a trend or consolidation? Hell yeah, you better know it. Like, here's the range. We're right in the middle. That's a doji. Right, that is a freaking doji. And we're right in the middle. This has no direction. It has no direction. Now we go to every time we step down, we can get more and more of a picture. Right, we're seeing exactly what's going on. So we're going from looking at the surface, scratching the surface, to looking at a magnifying glass, to stepping down to electron microscope and looking in exactly what's going on. So in the middle of range on the 30 and on the 60, on the 15, we expanded the range, and now we're retesting upper pivot. On the 5 minute, we're sitting right on top of the pivot, retesting it. We're still stuck with no direction. So it looks like this. We pushed up, we made a lower high, reverse. There's a pullback to the downside as we eat up this pivot and open low a day. We're coming right back up. Here's what's going to happen. We either take out the low of the candle or low a day, or we start getting a pullback to the top side here. It needs to take out current candle's high on the 15 here. If it does, when it does that, we'll target right here. We'll target the closest, the strongest resistances right here on the bodies, right? So we want to target those areas because that's the areas where price can bounce, right? We want to be aware of it. So long right this second, target's going to be here. We target that because price can reverse. That can be a retest, right? So we're pushing back up. It's around 50% of the range. You also want to be aware of the day's range. This is the range from the high to low. That's the range. Where exactly is price in relation to that range right now? It's in the lower 40% of the range, right? So, and what time is it? Time is important as well. 10:35. Whoa, shit! Stuff goes to hell. After 10:30, the market goes to crap. There's so much manipulation, garbage. You made money on the day. After 10:30, they're going to try to take it back from you. So you got to be aware of that too. So it looks like this. There's a pullback. This thing could continue lower. First thing it's got to do is take out the high of this candle here. But again, you know, resistance is right above it. If it breaks that level and it breaks that wick right there, we'll continue on up. We're coming back up this large candle here. So of course, we could see 50%. the bodies and the wicks. When it comes back up too high a day, it forms a double top. And if it comes up and it fails to take the high out by 1 cent, it'll reverse. All right. Now, sometimes they do dirty stuff. They'll come out, they'll take out the high, create liquidity, and they'll sell it right back down as well. So your confirmation that trend is going to continue is the retest. All right, the retest. Right now, NQ on the 5-minute, sitting right on top of the support level, which is the pivot, right? So if trend is going to continue, you want to see it hold. So it looks like this right here is break. Because the pivot's a magnet, come back down and retest for pushing back up, big long over the high. If it breaks this low right here, we can come back down. Target would be 50%, the body and the wicks. All of this is a consolidation. It's just a little sideways move here. Right? It's a chop. It's a little chop here. So what it do? It retested the wick. It looks like a random wick there. It's anything but. And it's short. Now, here's our setup too. Coming back through a large candle here. So target would be 50%, the open and the lows. Now, the last time it came to this area here, this is support. So support is not necessarily a horizontal price. It's a range. Just like up here at the top. This is resistance. This entire area here is resistance. It's a range. There's a lot of buy orders, sell orders here. And what the market makers like to do in institutions is every time price comes up to this range right here, they'll put their orders just a little bit lower, just a few cents lower, right? And the next time they come up, it'll be just a little bit lower until the buyers take control or the institution hedge fund have bought enough shares to run it on through. What they're doing is they're stopping it, they'll shorten it, they'll buy it back up. And the same thing happens at the bottom. They'll come down, and each time they'll put their buy order just a little bit higher. Next time they buy a little bit higher, and it'll consolidate and breaks out, right? So they're doing a couple of different things. They'll run the stops, continue to push up. And if they want to load up really high, every time it comes up, they'll drop it right back down, catching the bulls in there and run the stop at the same time, create liquidity. They'll buy it shit right back up. Or sometimes they got an algo and they just want a few points, and they'll just keep running until they make enough money, and then they'll just kick it, right? And then one side takes control. You got to be aware of all the dirty stuff so you can, you really want to play the direction that they're playing. You don't want to trade the way retail's going. You want to trade the way the money's moving. Plugs breaking down here again, so it's short again. Facebook, we're looking at taking it short back to the downside as soon as it takes the day's low. You don't need much. So if you're trading MNQ, you could start NQ short here. You could start with $400. If you want to get your feet wet, you throw $400 in there and you can start trading micros. I'm not sure what the margin is. I've got so much in there I don't even pay attention. So I can't tell you exactly how much it is. It's incredible. The leverage is incredible though. And margins contracts super cheap. For ES, fees, commissions, and everything combined, it's 66 cents a contract, commissions and fees. With NQ, it's 67 cents. I think margin is you're paying roughly 13%, 13 to 50% of contract value. And I think that's how they figure it out. So what the leverage is on that exactly, I don't know. I've only been trading futures for about, NQ's gonna be short again in a low previous candle. Short right this second. Target's gonna be 14,132 and then 121. Yeah, you're exactly right. Ninja's the way to go. I don't make any money off of them or commissions or anything like that, and I wouldn't do it if they asked me to. But if you want to get your feet wet, you don't have much money, I highly recommend it. You can go to any broker you want to trade futures, of course. That's up to you. But it's pretty quick. It's just bare bones and really, simple as more. If you hit first target there, next target's gonna be kind of low, and if we take out the pivot there, we're gonna keep going down, guys. So if we look at this 60 off the bat here, coming back down, a big ass green candle, right? So our best trades come back to these large candles. So let's pull it up right quick. I want to show it to you. So right here, where there's a current candles low here, where are we coming back through? We're coming back to this big green candle, right? So price can drop like a damn rock right here. Let's see here. If it breaks current candles low, target will be 14,146 and 142. Now we're looking at it again. Remember, we're still in a consolidation. We're on top of pivot on the 60. If it comes up, it fails to make a new low, we'll come right back up. So now you be aware of the wicks. You'll be aware of pivots. This is a pivot here, right? So an up candle followed by 2 down candles is a pivot. Down candle followed by 2 up candles is a pivot. Right? It's a pivot low. It's a pivot high. Pivots are going to be very important. Now, the pivot study marks the most relevant pivots. Right? They're marking the most relevant ones, the strong ones. It's a magical number. So it looks like this. It comes down, pivot low, pivot high. That pivot high is lower than this pivot high. And if it comes down and takes out this pivot low, guess what? It makes a lower high or a lower low. All right, we continue the larger downtrend. So we're trading individual candles to, zooming out and looking at the bigger picture. If we take and we look at the range, the day's range here, right? Well, first off, let me draw a bit closer. This is a literal sideways move here. This is a consolidation or rest, right? AKA chop, right? And you can trade this chop all damn day if you know what you're doing. Your best trades, if you're a new trader, your best trades come outside this range or this chop. So long over the wick, over the tallest wick, short under the lowest wick. There's stops here. There's stops on these levels, right? Now, if you want to be a safe trader and say, hey, I want to trade these consolidation breaks here, but I want to be safe, you'll wait on the retest. So you'll wait on price to break out and then retest it and then push up. You'll take it over previous candle's high. Same thing on the downside. You wait on the retest. Now, when we're looking at this pivot here, because it's a relevant pivot, we want to see how current can react. If price comes down, it fails to touch it by 1 cent, it's automatically bullish. It's automatically going to be bullish, all right? Because this will turn into a pivot. This current candle will turn into a pivot, and that pivot is higher than this pivot here. All right? That is a higher low. That's relevant. Super important. Super important. So also, when they come down to a support level, resistance level, you want to see how it reacts. Look at the candle. See it wicking here? That's important to know. That tells you there's a bunch of buy orders there. That also tells you that's a major support level, because every time it came right here to this level, they bought it up drastically. They bought it up so quick, it shot it right back up. All right? Now look, current candle close is higher. All right? It don't necessarily mean, hey, we're going to start pushing back up. Next candle open, current candle opened up. It's the inside candle, right? It's indecision at this point. It's a lower high and a higher low, right? So until it takes that one side or the other, we don't know. It changes trend, or trend is found when it breaks one side or the other. If it takes the high out, it makes a lower high and a lower low. That's an uptrend. Right now it's inside. It's a lower high. It takes out the low. It is a lower low. Right? It's a downtrend. Now, if it takes that out, be short. The problem is you always want to look at your risk to reward. All right, we take out the low. Our target's going to be this wick here, and then the next wick. All right, so your best trades come back to your large candles. Like we take out these wicks right here, the target is ultimately going to be pivot open low day. That's a pretty big ass risk to reward there. right here, you're looking at wick. So first off, you take it, it's short, but now you're down here at support. That's super wicky, which means, hey, price can turn around and wick right back up just as fast as come down. So you want to find targets and entries at ideal locations. Right. And your best ones, your cleanest trades come back to large candles. So when you go to find a signal to take entry in something, look to your left, look left and up or left and down, depending on the direction. See what you're coming back through. Facebook's going to be short on a lower day. Consolidation breakdown plug. Same thing, guys. Consolidation breakdown side. Upstart's going to be short under lower day. Consolidation breakdown side. I can tell you this. If the NQ breaks this level, we'll see a big flush here. So see how it went? It went short on that candle, pick direction. Lower high, lower low, downtrend. All right. First target met. Second target's right here. Let me draw it exactly here. Second target. Now, if it breaks through there because there's stops there, we'll get a flush on it. All right. Now, if you want to be a safe trader, so you know what? I'm not going to take this damn thing until we get a retest. So it needs a break, retest, shoot back through there. Sometimes in such a major downtrend, because it runs those stops, you won't get it. So just be aware of it. See how fast it broke through there? The reason it breaks like that is because it's running stops. So if I draw this, it looks like this. Comes down, pivot, pivot high, pivot low. So it takes out the pivot. It's a lower high. Now, when you're watching these candles, they can pull back. It's short again right here. It can pull back in the current candle. See it pulling back there and retest this level. Right? Is that important to know? Yep, it is. So every time if it pulls back and tests that area, they're trying to take it back up and they fail, and it takes out current candles low, you'll short it immediately. Right? So we talked about that wave. That wave can be in current candle. All right, so it's short right there. All right, guys, if you took BA, pat yourself on the back. It just gap fill. Next target's going to be on BA. The next target's going to be 183, and then pivot. So 180 or 183.50, 183. Upstart just triggered downside, guys. NQ short right this second. Amazon short, Facebook short again right this second. And as soon as Tesla breaks to lower day, it'd be a good spot to add. You could actually, if you want to be aggressive, you could add it to Tesla right this second. Target's going to be lower day and then pivot. So 1036, got a nice gap fill there. So right there, there's a trigger on the candle there. It pulled back in. If you pull the 1 minute up, you'd see it. Every time it breaks lower day, you'll be short, add to it. Now again, let's go to 60. So when you're trading, don't forgo looking at higher time frames. You'll have blinders on and you'll be oblivious to all the shit that's going on around you. And what I'm saying is, if you're not aware and there's a pivot on the 30s or the 60, you're going to be in a trend. All of a sudden it stops and reverses. You don't wonder why. It's because it's touching the pivot. Now look, the key area was this wick right here, and we're coming back through this large candle. So our best trades come back through large candles. We are coming back through a large candle, which means clean price action. All right, first target hit. Second target would be the wick. All right, and then 14,054. What happened? Here's the pivot. Price came up, and it failed to touch it. Right. So if price comes up and it fails to touch it by 1 penny, it's bearish. All right. So it looks like this. It came down, back up, and it made a lower high. That's a pivot, and it's lower. All right. It picked direction. It pulled up. It failed to make a new high here. Bam, it went short. Same thing happens at the bottom. If price comes down, makes a pivot, it comes back up and comes back down and retests it, and it fails by 1 cent. It's bullish. Now, sometimes, let me show you what they can do. Sometimes they'll come up, expand it, right? They'll expand it, trapping buyers, running stops, and turn around and come back down. All right. So there's a couple of different things that can happen. NQ short here, guys, absolutely dying. NQ's gonna be short again under right this second. Let me get your targets on this thing. 14,089, 1470. If that ain't a fucking monster move, I don't know what it is. Etsy short again right here, guys. The upstart still coming down. Tesla hit first target. If you added an aggressive entry, target's going to be lower day pivot. It's that first target here. Amazon's break retest downside, big good spot to add. And of course, Facebook's dying. NQ, we got a pullback here. It will be short on a lower day. Let me tell you this. These pivots are a magnet. I'll say it again right here. It came back down. It came back to retest. It can consolidate and come back and retest another time if it wants to. Look at Facebook real quick. There's Facebook break consolidation break. Right here's on that pivot. Right here. Oh, that's consolidation right there. It's sideways. All right. It triggered on a lower day, but let's see what it did. There's consolidation. It breaks. All right. Breaks, retest. It comes down. It retests it. It consolidates. It retested, making a lower high, making it bearish immediately. Went short again on a lower day or a consolidation break, and then we come on down. Run stops. When they consolidate, the longer price consolidates, the bigger the break. And the reason that happens is it's running the stops. It runs the stops. You'll also see volume increase as it goes to break. So you know the difference between manipulation and actual move. Etsy absolutely just dying here. Upstart puking. So here's Tesla. It went short again right here. So it went short actually up here. The target being open low. And let's draw a low across through there. Let's just do this. Price came up, pulled back, went short again right here. Target was the lower day right here. That's the new lower day. Still going to target 50% in that pivot on the 15. Facebook's completely selling off. Plug's still selling off and pushing down all damn day. All right, so plug should have been a plug for a while now. It's basically a parabolic move, clean price action. Be short again on 24.31. If you add it up here, all you want to do is manage. You want to put your stops at 24.60 and continue to push them down around top of the most important support resistance level. The upstart continues to sell off here. NQ short again, better hit it. Better damn hit it, boys, girls. Right here, upstart. There's a consolidation there. It breaks retest downside. Next consolidation, what does it do? It breaks it. There's a pullback downside. There's your first retest to pivot, right? So it consolidates, breaks again, second retest. There's the next consolidation here, and it breaks. So every time it takes the lower day, it's short. Let's look at Etsy. And I can show you Etsy on the 60 major consolidation break on Etsy here. Every time it took lower day, it was short. Here it pulled back up to retest because it entered again here, added to it. Came back through this large candle. The next entry was under lower day, prior lower day here. It's a retest downside. Every time it comes to the lower day, it's short. Now, if you want to try to stay in these things all day, you're going to put your stops right above the pivots of trends. You're going to set them at the lower pivots. When you first enter, you want to put your stop on the closest and the strongest support resistance level, 30 cents above it or below it. When you first enter, especially on a consolidation break, the beautiful thing about them is they should go immediately, absolutely immediately. And if they don't, you just cut it and you wait on the next setup. The reason they should go immediately is because the longer price consolidation, the bigger the break. Amazon short here, guys, just absolutely dying. Tesla coming on down. Facebook fucking just puked its guts out. Upstart puking. Etsy's puking. We're looking at BA here. BA's been short a few different times a day. Same setup. Right here, consolidation break, still making lower highs, lower lows. There's consolidation here. Next entry was under the low. Target was 50% gap fill, pivot, and now we're going to aim for the lower pivot here. So 18336. When it gets this level here, it's a solid red candle, so price should quickly drop like a damn rock. NQ will be short again under the lower day. Every time it takes that lower day, it is absolutely short. Amazon, of course, we saw it earlier. Absolutely gorgeous move. Should have made a fucking small fortune on it if you took it. Consolidation break right here. Right there. Lower high. Right. So short is a break retest downside. Every time it takes lower day, it's short. Target be open. Lower day. Gap fill. Pivot. All right. The next entry would have been right here. The next entry is here. We see it pull back here. If it breaks lower day, you could enter again. Now, Amazon, I love scalping Amazon, deep in the money contracts. It don't take much. So as soon as it starts to tick up and the spread increases, what I like to do is join the ass and take advantage of that wide spread. Sometimes I would catch, you know, an extra $100, $200. I think one time I caught an extra $400 just on this spread alone. Absolutely incredible. So with options, there's tips and tricks there too to make a lot of money just on the spread. Watching NQ here. Up starts a break retest 60, big sell off, guys. Big sell off on it. And Upstart, unfortunately, been a pretty good downtrend here for a while. PayPal short right this second, big sell off on that as well. And Netflix is short as well, guys, as it continues its sell off. We saw it pushing up yesterday. Guess what? I knew it was not over with. Remember, there's green days and downtrends, and there's green and downtrends as well. It's just profit taking. So we look at NQ. Let's pull it up right here on the 30. So anybody that thought that Netflix is going to go back up was absolutely fucking crazy. You see right here, it pulled back up a couple of times, consolidated, and what do? We're breaking that, taking out yesterday's low. It's gone. Right, this thing, if you look at the daily and the higher time frame, has absolutely been dying. This right here would be a good one to swing. It is not coming back up anytime soon. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So yeah, you want to do, if you're going to swing it, you want to wait till this thing does pick back up and start showing green before you sell it back down. So if you do swing something, you never want to go into a swing overnight red. You just don't want to do it. It's stressful. You want to go into a swing green, nice and green if you can help it. Coca-Cola has been a swing for about a week now. If you're not in it, there's a fucking problem. These things are cheap as shit, and it just keeps going and going and going. It's like an Energizer Bunny, guys. Also, we swung AMT. I don't know if anybody's still holding that thing, but it made new highs yesterday, which is pretty cool. We talked about it. Yeah, let's look at the month on it. All right. So some of these things, you just got to set them and forget them. Right here. Here's our A+ on the week, guys. This right here is a higher low. Breaks consolidation. Big ass candle. First target pivot, and then the open, the high. And then, of course, we want to aim for 30372. It's a former runner. It's making higher lows. Every time it pulls back, you can load it or you can enter. It's coming up. There's no doubt about it. Let's see. PG. I love looking at the Bob scanner once in a while. PG's fixing to break out here because it's got super clean. PG's, and that was a break. Do you want to know about this? Hell yeah. Look here. On the month, it's a break. It's a former runner. Break. It retests the pivot, acting as a support level, shooting right back up this big ass room candle. If it takes out 165.35, it'll moonshot. There's no doubt about it. The longer price consolidation, the bigger the break. This thing's been consolidating for about 6 months here. Can you imagine the amount of stops sitting on top of 165.35? We're almost there. We're almost there. Less than 55, 60 cents away. Need to kind of wait on it now. Some kind of break retest if I may. Could be a really nice one. I mean, this thing can absolutely rip. MO has been on the Bob scan for months now. It's a break retest on the month. First target will be these candles right here, 57.55. Past that, big ass red candle. Big red candle. Let's go to quarter. All right, there's the first big candle right there. There's the second one. This is one. I'm telling you, this is one big ass red candle. Let's see if we can find it. There we go. That's where it comes into play. Being able to compound these candles instantly, you can see exactly what they make on the higher time frames. If you go to resources, guys, there's some videos there. It's called Candlestick Math. I highly recommend you watch it. Now, it shows you how to find hammers and shooters. That shit's not important. The only thing you need to see is these big candles. These big candles. That's all you need to see. Look here. Higher lows, breaks consolidation. There's our pattern. There's our A+ pattern right there. You know about it? Yes, sir. Right there it is. It's coming right back up. Look here. Former runner. It broke, came back to retest, taking out stops, only to shoot right back up to the top. And they're cheap right now. Watching NQ, anytime NQ breaks low a day, it'll be short. If we look at it, it's retesting that pivot. It's retesting pivot. So that pivot is acting as a resistance level now. So let's pull up the 5-minute here. And draw it up right quick, and I'll answer a few questions. So right here, see that wick there? It's just random. These wicks are anything but random. So that's a wick, but that's also a pivot. All right, let's look at it. The price came up. Now sometimes they'll touch them to the exact penny. Sometimes they'll get close. It doesn't matter. That's support. On this side, it's resistance. All right. So if it breaks that, so if it takes out that, we can come right back up to this wick, the open high. And if it wants to NQ, because these pivots are a magnet, it can come right back up and retest again. So what are we looking for? First off, higher lows. So you know that pattern I just showed you on the MO on the year? This is the same pattern. It's the same fucking pattern, guys. Consolidation, higher lows, breaks it, come back up a large candle. Right? And if you want to be really technical, every bit of this from here to here is one big red candle. That's one big red candle. If you compound it, it's a compound 2. Compound 2. So higher lows, consolidation. It's gonna be safe. You wait on it to break it and retest that level, pushing back up. And you'll target, of course, 50% of the large candles, the open, the high, the bodies, and the wicks, right? Ultimately, you're gonna target the pivot. If it's gonna continue higher, if it's gonna push on up, guys, here's what you're gonna look for. First off, you want to see a candle close above the pivot. Secondly, if you want to be really safe, you wait on a retest. You want resistance to become support. Now, remember we talked about expansion and contraction earlier. It happens on all the pivots. So here, expansion. So it's going to be long. NQ's going to be long with this candle right here. So what happens is price can shoot up here, expand the pivot, only to come right back down. Right? And it also happens this way. Let me clear this. It can also do this. Price comes up, expands it that way. If you put your stop right on the pivot, it can wick back down, only to come right back up. All right, so it expands to the downside. If you put your stop right there on the line, you're going to be stopped out because price will wick before pushing back up. Now, let me show you exactly how it works in between candles. Right here, in between these two candles right here, there's a straight line across it. Support resistance right here. See that wick there to expand the top? right here is expansion on that candle, and it actually expands the downside right there on the low wick. Right here, expansion, top side, the downside. Now, if we look at it, this is also consolidation. So everything between this wick here and this wick right here is a consolidation. That is inside. So for this brief moment in history, right here, this is a inside candle. It's an inside move. It's inside this range. So if we're looking at individual candles, that is inside. All right. So there's a candle. The candle opens up. It goes inside. And as soon as it breaks, it'll be short. So it's just inside. That's the rest. All right. So it would look like this. All right. So there's the wave and there's the pattern. Now that's individual candles. Now this can happen in two candles. Candle opens up, it goes up. All right, so it looks like that. So it moves up, it's green. It starts to come back down. It opened up right even with that candle. As soon as it starts to go green or red, it's short. So these two candles is the same as these three candles. All right, same thing. Looks like this. Let me draw that there. I want to show you because it's all the same thing. So you got two candles, you got three candles, same pattern, same wave. And then you got one candle. You got one candle here. That candle, say it opens up, it's open. It comes down, it's red. I'll just say it's a red candle. It pulls back. Here, let me draw it. It pulls back and it makes that wick right there. It's a pullback. As soon as it goes back solid red, it'll be short. So it would look like this in one candle. We trade this morning. Every time it takes the low or the high, it could be either way. It's short. That's a consolidation. That's a consolidation into itself, a pullback or profit taking. So that's one candle. One candle. Now, let me show you this. Right here. Let me get rid of this. Price comes down. It's a trend down. Pulls back. It comes down. There's the wave. There's a consolidation. As soon as it takes the lowest wick out or the highest, I don't give a shit which way it breaks. I don't care. If it breaks the lowest wick or lower day, it's short. There's the wave. It don't matter. It starts at the open. It starts with one candle. Then it starts with two candles. Then it starts with three candles. And your biggest moves happen with multiple candles. It don't matter how many candles are in this range. It could be two. It could be 1, 2, 20, 30, 100. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I can tell you this: the longer price ranges or stays in this range, the bigger the break. The larger the break. The reason being, they're stacking stops. Every time it stays, it moves back and forth. It's stacking stops. They're stacking. they're also, when it's doing this, they're comfortable with price. There's basically a battle's going on. It's a chop. Now, if this range is wide enough, you can trade it. You can trade it inside this range. So we're looking at the larger pivots on the higher time frames. Anything between the pivot high and the pivot low is a range. It's a consolidation. You can trade them. Amazon, which currently break retest, it's got major room. So I can tell you this: if Amazon takes low a day at 30.51, it's got room to 30.43, 30.25, and then pivot. It's in a downtrend. It's just a break retest, fix the downside. It's currently coming back up to retest. Right? If NQ breaks the highest wick right here, it'll be long. It's starting to make higher lows. Right? So if it breaks current candle's high, it will be long. We'll target. Target's going to be the open of this candle here. Right? So we're going to target 50% of that. Right? From entry to target, we'll target 50% because that's a large move there. We'll break it down to 50%. And you'll target the open, the wick, right? And then ultimately we'll target the pivot. So we target pivot to pivot. Now let me clear this out and I'll show you. There's ways that you can tell direction. So right now we're making higher highs and higher lows. It's not pretty, but it is what it is. So there's the entry. Target's going to be 50% open wick, body wick, pivot. There's ways to tell. So during a consolidation. So consolidation. If it's making higher lows, it's bullish. All right. And it'll break out the top 80–90% of the time. If it's making lower highs, the direction of break is to the downside. Now, it's still a consolidation. So every pattern that you've ever been taught or know about is a consolidation. It's a little sideways move. But there's ways that you can tell which direction to break. These are triangles. Another one is symmetrical. I call it a coil. It's like a snake. It coils until it strikes, till it breaks out. There's no way to know direction of this break, but you can hop in early. Now, this symmetrical triangle, if you draw the range of it and you put a line where price is, it's a doji. It's a major chop. You can trade it, but as price continues, as the day goes on, the range gets smaller and smaller and smaller, so you can't trade it. Now, there's ways to hop in this thing early. You want to find the most significant pivot in the range, right? Which would be here. You could enter over the top of that pivot. The reason being, it made a higher low. When it takes that, it makes a higher high. The problem is your target is the top of consolidation, the highest in the range. Same thing down here. If you find the lowest, the middle pivot, you can draw a trend line, take it when it breaks it. Your target would be the lower consolidation. Now, if it's always safer to wait till it breaks the high or the low of it, because that would be your target. Price could break it, break the pivot. Your target would be the low pivot of consolidation, the lowest candle wick in the range. Price can come down and shoot right back up. So when you're looking at symmetrical triangle breaks, you want to be aware of target. Right? So if you're significant, if you're going to take a break over this pivot here, but your target's 25 cents away, it's not worth it, because there's a major resistance level overhead. It could bounce and then come right back down. It's not worth it. At that point, you'd wait till it breaks the high of the range. Retest gives confidence. All right, if you want confidence in the move, you wait on the retest. See the retest, see the wave. The wave, the break retest is a consolidation. A pullback, so right here, comes down, it pulls back in itself. That's a consolidation or rest. A retest is a rest. It's a rest it needs for the next move, no matter direction. Right? The market is like a living, breathing thing. It breathes in and out. It inhales, it exhales. It's temperamental. Sometimes it's a good move. Sometimes it's a bad move. Sometimes you just don't want to do shit. It's a living, breathing thing. People that try to build algos and stuff like that, they, it's hard because it's unpredictable. It's like the weather. It's like the weather. It's hard to judge it. That's why you got to be hands-on, on deck. And sometimes the best setups, they fail. That's part of it. That's where risk management comes into play. Time stops. If something looks weird, I'll cut the shit out of it. I don't care. I'll cut it for a small loss. If you hope that it's going to bounce, you're going to blow your account up. You're going to blow it up. You're going to have to cut them immediately. Now, a lot of times I'll cut stuff because it looks funny. It'll still go my direction. I don't care. I don't care. There's a chance that it don't, and I'm down 30, 40 points. I don't want it to happen. And the same thing with options. If I'm playing options on regular tickers and it looks funny or it goes against me, I'll cut it immediately. It's so easy to make up a small loss. It's so easy. If you're holding on to options, you're like, oh man, it can bounce, or I'm already down 40% on my contract. Let's just see if it goes. Well, you're gonna be really upset when it's down to 0. You look back and you're like, man, I wish I could cut it at 50. You should have cut it at 10 or 20. Watching Tesla here, if it breaks lower day to be short, still going to target that pivot 15. Same thing with Facebook. Facebook breaks lower day, it will be short again. Biggest spot to add. Plug, same thing. Plug breaks lower day to be short. PayPal breaks 91.43, be short. Or watching Roku, Etsy, same exact thing. It breaks lower day to be short. It's consolidating. It's still making lower highs. Right here, NQ, it's after 10:30, of course. So what does the market do? It goes to shit. It starts chopping. It starts to literally chop. And of course, that's a good thing. The longer price consolidation, the bigger the break. Right here, these wicks here, that's a major, that was support, right? That's support. It can become resistance, right? See, that low-hanging wick looks so random, but it's anything but. So the wicks, if you never heard me say this before, the wicks are more important than the bodies. And the reason I say that is because the bodies, they open and close, are held to time. They open and close according to time. The wicks, they're free to range. They can range and stop wherever the hell they want. So when they hit an area, it's key. It's a hidden level that you can't see otherwise. It marks buy orders, sell orders. Right? Hidden support, resistance. They're very important. Very important. And that's another thing where you need to step back at a higher time frame and look exactly what's going on. Right now, we're focused on these candles. And, and a lot of times we see a chop on the 5-minute. It won't even register on the 15. Right? Or the 30. So it could just be an inside candle because a consolidation is nothing more than an inside candle. So let me show you all this chop. So first off, let's draw the day's range. All this is inside of it. That's a literal inside the range, inside the day's range. It's that literal inside candle. It's what I call a compound one. It's a combination of all the candles inside the day's range. It is a chop. It's a little chop, aka a rest range. If we go to 60, you'll be able to see it. All right, so there it is. It's inside the day's range. Here's the range. There's the inside. That's a consolidation or rest. Now we're looking at, if it takes a day's low, we'll start targeting the pivot. Right? And look, if it breaks the pivot, guess what we got? We got a big green bodied candle here. Right? So the target would be the body. And then the wicks. Right? And then the next level, there's another level of significant support here. And then the wick. And then under that, it's another fast drop to the next pivot. So look here, consolidation over that wick there. So if it's the 5-minute chart, you put it the same exact way. Anything over this candle here is straight shot. Right here, we played this other day. Look here, price came up, it failed to touch it, even by 1 penny. I don't care if it's $3 less. I don't give a shit. If it's 1 cent less, and sometimes they'll come up and it's so close you can't even tell. You've got to roll your cursor across it to see the exact price. If it's 1 cent less, it's a lower high. It's just a lower high. That's all there is to it. That's important. This is important. It's a higher low. Makes it bearish immediately. And the beautiful thing about the pivots is they mark significant areas that you can see these levels very quickly. Because there's minor pivots inside of major pivots. Well, right now we're inside. We are chopping inside this range. We are resting. I mean, you look at it like this. This thing just made a massive move. It's made a huge damn move. It's almost 200, almost 300 points. It needs a rest. It's healthy. You want to see it. You want to see it. It gives it rest so it can make the next move, whether it reverses or continues. I don't care. So trend without rest is dangerous because it can pull back just as fast. If you move up 800 points, can you imagine a pullback? It'd be 400 or 500 points. And it can happen instantly because it stairs up, elevator down. Now, of course, you know, we know about it, so we can take advantage of it. We go direction with the big money. Right? But to make money, you got to think differently than the other 90% of people. Yeah, I'd be glad to. You're very welcome. Set the bracket worker in Q, 10-point stop, 5 and 10-point target. Move stop the breaking up to 5 points. Yeah. Yeah, I think I would. And also, you can leave one runner. The one guy, XGNVV, he could help you out with that a lot better than I can. To be honest with you, I don't run much. I don't run stops and stuff on NQ. I'm just scalping. I manage it and my hands on. But you could, if you're new to it, you definitely want to have some kind of hard stop for sure. For sure. And I can tell you this, limits are the way to go because a limit can catch a move a lot quicker than you can. The thing is, don't be greedy with them. And because you have to actively manage each individual candle, they're not all going to be treated the same. One candle may be 10 points and one might be 60. So you don't want to have it. It's hard to set a bracket order for each individual candle. It's best to be under than over. So 5 or 10 points, easy to hit almost every single time. And if you can scalp, 20, 30 points a day, or 20, 30 times a day, you make a lot of money. I would definitely keep a runner. I would keep a runner for sure. Set it break even, then maybe put a trail stop on it, maybe 5 points. After it moves 5 points or 10 points, and you're at break even, trail it by 10 points or 5 points. I don't know. Just play around with it. But that guy he'd probably be able to answer your question a lot better. 1-point stop, 10-point target. Yeah, TM, that'd probably be a damn good setup. Yeah. Every time we scalp it, it's easily 5 or 10 points. Yeah, I like it. I think it would work. I would experiment with it for sure. Yeah, this is a major chop here. It's after 10:30. Not looking too hot. I can tell you this, guys. After 10:30 on breakouts, not so much breakdowns, but the breakouts. A lot of times, volume will lead the break. You'll see volume start to pick up as it goes to break. That shows you big money's is loading into the break. You're very welcome. They'll actually load into the break. I'm going to share my workspace. Anybody hasn't had it? Now, if you don't know how to load it, it's pretty easy. Well, when you bring it in and import it, you'll load it, and what you'll do is you'll go to setup. If you scroll down right through here, you'll see it, what you saved it as, right? You just click it and it'll load up. I'm going to post it right now in the chat. So anybody wants my workspace? It also, you'll come with a flex grid. So the flex grid I use all the time is going to be on there. And it's got 20 tickers on there. You'll see the ones I'm actually watching right this second. Tesla's short again right here. Watch out for Facebook. The breaks days later to be short. Now, on that flex grid, there's the top row is going to be 60-minute and then the 15. The next row is going to be 60-minute and 15. The 60-minute allows me to see back a few weeks back. It marks major support resistance with the pivots. The 15 allows me to see the best setups, and then I'll enter on the 5-minute. All right, so if I see something setting up on the 15-minute, I'll look at the 5-minute for entry in these things. I'm going to share this screen right here too. For some reason, sometimes the pivot study does not come over with it. I don't know why. So I'm going to share the screen. It will include the pivots and this volume scan here. So if you have to, you can pull the pivot study from the screen right here. And I'll show you real quick how to load these real quick. There you go. I do for NinjaTrader. I don't know how to exactly test the short here. Ball's going to be short in a split second, guys. And plug, as soon as it breaks low, they'll be short again. I don't know how to transfer it just yet, but I will. I'll figure it out. PayPal short again right here. And watch Etsy. When Etsy breaks 102.23, it will be short again, guys. I do. It's nothing special about the workspace for NinjaTrader. A lot of times when I'm playing NinjaTrader, I just got basic order entry up, nothing special. I don't use the DOM or super DOM. I want to keep it simple as I can. And a lot of times I use TOS charts for entries on it. Nothing special. That's it. All right, guys. MQ at any time takes the day's low. It'll be short here. So if it breaks 14.067, it'll be short. All right. We're going to target that pivot 57 and under 57. Let me be exact here. We're going to target ultimately 14.054. If it breaks that, we can quickly come down to 14.46, 14.003, 13.991. There we go. $100. Yes, sir. All right, so let me show you. In the chat, I posted the workspace. So here's what you want to do. All right, so you're going to load that study set. All right, you're going to go to this beaker icon right here. Right here. You're going to click it. You're going to go down to Save Study Set. Save it as wherever you want. Then what you're going to do, if my workspace did not come over with the pivot study for some reason, you'll save it and then you'll click it each chart and you'll hit Load Study Set, and then you're going to click on what you saved it as and then click it to load it each one. Now, what you can do is, I just put the volume on the 15. I wouldn't load the volume on each one. And then what you do want to do is you can go to the 30-minute chart, pull it up, load study set, all right? And then what you'll do is you'll go to the other beaker and then remove the volume, all right? And then when you go to the pivot study, you'll click it. There's a line across it. You don't need that. It says data. Uncheck where it says show plot. Hit OK. Now, hit save as set. MQ short here, guys. Hit save study set and then put big O, or just put study set 30-minute. And that'll be the study set you're going to use for your 30, 60, 4-hour daily, weekly, blah, 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 blah. Okay. That's just the quickest way to load it. So then you'll just go to studies to each chart and you'll hit load study set, 30-minute. See? Ooh. And you'll do it to each one. It's the quickest way possible to do that. Or you could always come in, study, tap it in, and then load it. It's up to you. But you got to go in there and unplot data. All right, NQ 30-minute there. It touched the pivot right there on the 60. It's the same pivot from the 60. All right, and if it breaks again here, be short again. The longer price consolidation, the bigger the break. So we're running a lot of stops right here, guys. You can see also, you know how we talked about volume increasing or leading the breaks. You know, I can see it without looking at it, and that just comes from practice. But you should definitely keep an eye on it. So see right here, see volume lead up into the break. Right? What were they doing? They were loading up. Smart money was loading up into that break. Now price come back up to retest this wick right here. That wick can act as a resistance level as they try to push price back up. So see how it retested. Now that's the thing. You know, a lot of people, they're reading these charts after the fact. You know what I'm saying? We read them in real time. We got to read stuff before it happens. They read from the left. We read from the right side. So after a candle's closed, you can't tell what happens. But as the candle's forming, it could be a million different things. It could be a doji. It could be a hammer. It could be a shooter. It could be all kinds of shit. It could be engulfing. It could be all kinds of stuff. All right. So right now, this level it broke out of right here, we want that to act as resistance. All right. It was major support. It was major support. So if price starts to come back up, it should act as resistance. So anything that takes out the low a day, it'll be short. So or watching it. If it comes up and retests, it's coming back through chop, right? So all this is consolidation. So again, if it comes back through this range, it can chop again. There's no doubt about it. So hopefully, I'm trying to draw it from these lower candles here, the lowest candle, because that's when we enter on the short side. It's right there. Now we want it to take the low out. There'll be another consolidation. Now it can come back up to, it can wick back up in here because remember there's expansion. So let me draw it real quick. So just because it breaks this just a hair, don't mean it's done with just yet. There's expansion. Price can pull back in there just a little bit before running stops. There's expansion right there. Okay. Just like up here on this pivot. See how it expand the top side, expand the downside. That's a little bit dramatic there. It's larger than normal. All right, guys. Facebook's gonna be short again under the lower day. Shop will be short under 497. Tesla's almost to target here, guys. Tesla. Hope you got that one because that's just a straight down move. Super clean. Super clean. It's almost 25 points, guys. 25 points on Tesla. PayPal short again right here, just a parabolic move straight down. It don't get no clean. It don't get no clean. SQ short right this second. It's a break retest 60 downside. Roku, we're waiting on a break a lower day. And same thing with Etsy. So Etsy's gonna be short again on a 102.23. Your stop should be 30 cents above the pivot, or 103.50. All right, see the wicking right here. I want to get rid of some of this garbage I got on here, but let's get rid of this. Notice how that wick, see the wick right there? It pulled back or dropped down. It broke out, which is this box right here marked consolidation. All right, it's just a little sideways move. It came back up, retesting and trying to push back up, right? If they try to take it higher and they fail, there's only one direction to go, guys, and that's down. It's down. Now, it will be short under the low. All right. Now, we're waiting on that. Let's look at the 60. All right. So, our targets are where? Pivot to pivot. I call that a pretty damn good move there. So, right here, price came up. It came back up. It failed to make a new high here. It was bearish immediately, right? We're going to target the pivot. Now, it's short right this second. Now, we're coming back down this big-ass green candle here on the 60. So, again, our best trades come back to these solid candles, right? It's clean price action. There's nothing to stop us. There's nothing to stop it from coming straight down through there. All right? Clean price action. Big candles are money. The reason being they are, it's clean price action, and it's running a lot of stops. So, this big green candle, is basically the same thing as this big red candle. See that big red candle? It's one huge candle. But look at it. Clean price action, a shit ton of stops, a lot of stops to run. It just makes it move so much quicker. So best trades come back to large candles always. You want big ass moves? Big candles, guys. So on that, guys, managers trade. Here's what we're looking for. SPY's gonna be short. QQQ is gonna be short. Tesla's short. Every time it breaks lower day, it'll be short. Target's gonna be that pivot 15, and we'll target 50% of that gap down to gap fill. Shopify's gonna be short in a split second on 497.21. Amazon, anytime it takes a day low, short. Still making lower pivot highs, lower lows. Facebook just went short again. Every time a consolidation breaks, guys, buy in. Baba, no brainer. Still short. Etsy just broke downside. Roku's fixing to go next with it. Upstart, same thing, currently consolidating. Your next entry is under 75.84. Good spot to add to it. All right. NQ breaks lower day right this second. Short, guys. It is short. So everybody should be doing well. If you're struggling or having problems, reach out. There's no sense in struggling, guys. If you're having problems, please send me a message. All right. DM me. You can reach me on Twitter. You can reach me on Discord. You can reach me on my cell. I'm going to put my personal cell phone in the chat right this second. If you're having problems, reach out. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you. I want everybody to be successful. There's no reason you should be struggling. PayPal's going to be short again or add 290.90 floor. Etsy's just triggered. Crowd will be short on a lower day. Actually, let's wait till it breaks pivot 217.50. If it does that, it'll trigger on the 60. Target will be 209. SQ still dying here. We're watching Upstart still making lower highs. Needs to take out 75.84. Now Netflix had pulled back here, which would be a good spot to buy in. As soon as Netflix breaks to 1270, it'd be a good spot to buy on that pullback to the downside. Watch Facebook right quick. Tesla's really close to target, guys. Look at Facebook. Yeah, these moves are just, they're so easy. I'm watching a bunch of different tickers, but if you notice, I'm only picking certain ones because of the price action and what they come back through. Now, when Tesla breaks this pivot here, it's coming back down to the largest, prettiest, cleanest candles. Now, from entry, this thing's dropped quite a bit. We've already dropped about 32 points. If you're in BABA, you know, BABA from earlier, from almost open, still coming down. Plenty of opportunities to hop into BABA here. Every time it breaks consolidation, it's short. It's in major trouble, coming back down that huge ass candle on the weekly. Let's look at Upstart here. It consolidated, still making lower highs. If it breaks consolidation, it'll be short. Right, so right here on the 15, you see it come back to retest the original breakout area. Needs to take out lower day for it short, 75.84, breaks consolidation downside. If you look at it, it's still making lower highs. These pivots are the highs. As the day progresses, we look at the pivots. The pivots are the highs and the lows of the trend. NQ short, guys. And we should get a big move on it. Absolutely huge monster move. AMD short right now. So NQ, target on NQ is now going to be 14,003, 13,991. Well, it already hit first target. That was quick as hell. Yeah, let's put the 60 right quick, break it off there. We talked about it before it happened. Right here. When it broke that wick, target was the open and the low. It still is. First target would be 50%, from the open of the candle. So 50% the open, the low, and then we target individual bodies and wicks on the way down. When it comes here, between these two candles, that's support, right? So price can hesitate right here. All right, so super clean through this candle, and then we come down between the bodies. Here is a support level, just like that wick, significant. The next level of support is right here, again on the bodies, and then after the wick, it's another huge move down to the pivot. NQ short again. Every time it breaks, short, break short, break short, break short. Amazon broke out. Shopify short, guys, right this second. So even Shopify took out low of the day around 502. Got a bit late for it, but after the consolidation break, great entry. NVIDIA is going to be short on the low of day here, fixing to break out right this second. And I tell you what, if NVIDIA breaks that 210 level, it's gone. It's gone. It will absolutely die. SQ short, Roku short, Etsy short, Upstart short right this second, and Netflix is telling you want to get in, and now's the time to do it on this pullback. We made so much money in Q today. Absolutely insane. Guys, I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your day. The market's still selling off here. I mean, just wait every time it breaks a little day. Just take the entry into it. I tell you what, we just had another big flush down here. You'll see it chop again for a little bit. You'll start to see it consolidate for a few minutes before selling back up. Just wait on consolidation, and then take the highest or lowest wick. It don't matter which way it breaks. Yeah. Guys, I appreciate you as usual. And if I see anything, I'll send alerts out on Discord and on private Twitter. So if you're not in the private Twitter channel yet, on the private Twitter, send me a message and I'll give you the link so I can add you to it. Yeah, I'll be glad to post it. And I posted the last 3 days in there as well yesterday. So I'll add that in there. And Q still coming down here. Guys, I appreciate y'all so much. I'll definitely post those videos a little bit later today as soon as I get done renting on Zoom. Y'all have a great day. I appreciate you. And we'll catch y'all in the morning. Thank you.